Hey, my loves. It's me, Oracle Brigette, and I want to talk about two things. There are two specific light codes that I would like to remind you of. Maybe it's something you've heard before, maybe not. Either way, a reminder always helps. Okay? You could look at these things as two fundamentals of 5D. So thank you for joining me. Let's give it one more minute to see if anybody else wants to join us on the live, and then I'll get to it. I took notes. I had the idea for the video, and then I wrote the things down. So when you see my eyes go to the left, it's me staying on topic. So today is Thursday. And Thursdays we do our Lightworker meditation. So this rising, I did the Lightworker meditation, and I brought through some light codes. And the second half of the light codes, for those of you who are there, that's what I'm about to share. Some of the light codes that I brought through in today's Zoom session, I want to bring them up here and now. Yay, come on in, my loves. You're here. I'm here. Okay. Oh. So this is spiritual guidance for adults. I may use adult language. I hope to reference adult content if needed. So this is an adult program. The two things that I want to share with you today, one of them is new. One of them is old, is real old. So one of these things, I already have an ebook written about. The other one, this is the first time I'm ever bringing it up on the public sphere. And I'm bringing it up first because I find it to be super interesting and I'm really grateful for it. And so I can't just keep this information to myself. Are you ready? So, one fundamental of the fifth dimension and in maintaining being an ascended being is rescinding your curses. You need to make sure you rescind your curse. Any curse that you may say, any negative thought that you may think towards another person. We're human. We make mistakes. That's no excuse to create new generational curses for those who may come after you. Okay? Anytime you curse someone, you speak badly on someone, to someone, or throw a negative thought, you need to make sure you take those things back at the end of the day. You don't have to take them back from the person. Rather, you need to take them back from the universe. You need to say, I rescind these curses, or I take back these negative thoughts. Forgive me, Spirit. You ask your soul to forgive you because that is not in alignment with Spirit. But mistakes happen. But just because mistakes happen, and sometimes we get upset, sometimes we say things we don't mean, sometimes we think things we don't mean. Just because, it's not an excuse to make new generational curses. You see, every time you throw a curse or a negative thought, verbalize or think a curse and negativity towards another, you are sending that energy out there. And the universe will give it back. But there's no guarantee on when the universe will give that energy back. And that might happen, that energy might be given back to your kids or your kids' kids. And that's why I'm saying, just because we're human and we make mistakes is not an excuse to create new generational curses. The negative things we think and say in this life, if we do not rescind them, R-E-S-C-I-N-D, rescind, if we do not take them back from the universe and fucking say sorry, spirit, then you're keeping that shit out there, and you put that shit out there. You will have to deal with the repercussions of your actions. And if you don't, then those who come after you will. And that's the creation of a new generational curse, okay? We're working so hard to break all of these generational curses. Can you imagine if at the end of the day, we don't rescind our curses, we don't take back all the negative shit we said from the universe and apologize and clear the slate? If we don't do that, we're literally just pretty much running in circles. Breaking my grandmother's generational curse and then making a new one for my grandkids. And what I wrote in my notes about this topic was, rescinding your curses, take them back. You're human, you may make mistakes. That's not an excuse to start a new generational curse. So that's the light code. That's the first thing I wanted to tell you. You can do that at the end of every day or whenever it comes to mind. Mistakes happen all the time. No need to let some negative shit that you put out there simmer. If you can, whoopsies, just clear that real quick. Sorry about that. Sorry, spirit. Take it back. Sometimes you may actually need to apologize to another to truly rescind the energy, but I'll leave that up to your discernment. Because this is an adult program, and we're intelligent beings. I do not need to think for you in that manner. Okay. So the second thing that I want to talk to you guys about is something that I have been talking about for years. It's one of the first ebooks I ever wrote, Tough Love for Adult Empaths. And I love that it came through in this energy. And I hope that it helps. So here goes. Let me read my notes. Okay. Take a deep breath. So the people around us may go through strong emotional experiences. People we love, people we want to be around, people we got to be around, they may go through a strong emotional experience. That wave does not have to hit you, impact you, nor affect you at all. You are able to hold space for another to have a strong, as long as you're safe, to have a strong emotional experience. And you can retain and maintain your frequency and your emotion no matter what they are going through, okay? You do not need to absorb the strong emotional energies of those that are around you, especially in a time when people are dealing with very strong emotional experiences because of the spiritual ascension the collective is going through. This is not the time to, let me speak in positives. This is the time to really claim your space. This is the time to really claim your vibration. This is the time for us to reject and decline influence to things that we do not want to influence us. Back in my notes. Okay, so now let me give you the words that you can say. You can change it to whatever you want it to be. This is what I can offer you, and then you take it, change it how it helps. So far I've already said half of what I wrote in my notes. You don't have to pick up other people's energies. It doesn't matter how strong an experience they're having, okay? You can block it. You can continue to hold space for them. You're not judging them. You're not telling them to stop. Nothing. You're just not fucking absorbing it and letting their wave hit you or get dragged along in their wave. This can be said in your head, and if they're on the phone, you can mute your phone before you say it out loud. If you're on FaceTime, maybe put your mouth out of the screen or say it without moving your mouth very clearly, because it can be offensive what I'm about to say, because it's not for another person to hear. It's for you to say to yourself to reestablish the quality of your energy field, because it's true. Your energy field, the energy that's coming off of you, it cuts off around 3 to 6 feet. So, you can discern. Usually your energy field changes in size based on whatever you need in those moments, unless you're consciously playing with your energy field size. So your energy field is potentially permeable. Potentially, but doesn't have to be. So when someone is going through a strong emotional experience, you do not have to absorb those energies. Rather, you can decline the energy. I decline the absorption of this energy. That's one. I decline the absorption of this energy. You say that to yourself, or you say that out loud in your space if you can mute the person so they can't hear you speaking. 2, I do not consent to the influence of this energy on my field. I do not consent to the influence of this energy on my field. That's the classic one. That's the one that's in the article, in the ebook. And 3, simple. I reject this energy. I reject this energy. Okay? So someone's going through a really strong emotional experience around you, and you know that none of those emotions are yours to take on, but that does not invalidate the impact of the experience that they are having for their own selves. So they're having an experience for themselves, emotions, all of these incredible things. I don't want to change your divine process, but I certainly am not going to get caught under an undertow or up in some storm that's not my own. And the way that I can be sure that I am fortifying my energy field and consciously not allowing myself to absorb energies that I don't want to absorb, I say, I decline the absorption of this energy, or I decline this energy. I do not consent to this energy to influence my energy field, or just, I do not consent to this energy. And I reject this energy. You've got options, as you can see. You don't have to be super picky. But I hope you can notice the light-coded pattern there in those 3 phrases that you can say to yourself, so that you have a nice and strongly fortified field, so that you can be a real support by holding space of the real world, your world, while someone goes through whatever the fuck they need to go through. And then when they get to the other side of it, and they get over it, as they will, you'll still be there for them. Not exhausted, because you've been dragged around by someone's emotional experience that they were going to get over anyways. You're truly able to claim the energy of your field. You're able to choose what energies from the outside that you allow to influence you, that you allow to affect you. And there are positive ones. Healing, nature, art. I open myself up to these things when I choose to. And it's an incredible... love. It's an incredible experience. I interrupted myself. Love? So I open myself up to love. So, we choose when we are going to allow energies to permeate our field. Because it's your energy. And I want to close this out by just reminding you that your heartfelt wants that are based in your conscious integrity, in your connection to source, the part of you that is connected to God, that God talks to inside of you, where your wants are, right there. Those are your breadcrumbs and key codes to your life and soul purpose, the whole reason you came here, incarnated on this physical plane at this time in this body. Your wants are the keys, my love. Your wants are the keys. So don't settle and minimize your wants, because that is moving out of alignment with spirit. If you don't want to do something and you do it anyways, that is you moving out of alignment with spirit, away from the key codes you've already been given that will align you with your purpose, with your soul purpose. I also want to remind you that you don't owe anyone an explanation of what you think your purpose is or of your purpose. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you don't want to do something. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you decline something or choose to reject something or choose to not consent to something when it has to do with yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation. The no is simply enough. Okay, one last thing since I'm here, and it's prevalent to the current energy. One last thing. Boundaries. If there's someone you love or someone that you got to have in your life or want to have in your life that keeps forgetting your boundaries, then I hope that this can help you. Take a deep breath. If we share a boundary with someone and they're not able to respect it or remember it for one reason or another, then it becomes our responsibility to uphold that boundary. It is not other people's responsibilities to ensure that our boundaries are respected, unfortunately. It's up to us. We need to be living, breathing, walking representations of our boundaries and standards. Okay? Because these boundaries, your true boundaries, that's the walls to your home that is you. That's how you stay authentic to yourself, how you advocate for yourself, and how you stay doing things only that you want to do and aligning with a life that feels good for you. A life where you can thrive. These boundaries we create and that we set in our adult relationships and in our life. Other people might not remember them, and it's not their job to. And we really can't even assume that other people have the same boundaries as us. We might be the only person with these boundaries and standards in like a 300-foot radius, 3,000-mile radius. That does not invalidate them just because you are alone in having those standards or boundaries. This is your body, babe. This is yours. You just may have to be the walking, living, breathing representation of those boundaries, and you may need to behave in a way as if no one knows that those are your boundaries. And if no one knew that those were your boundaries, how would you behave? And if you have a friend or a loved one who keeps not respecting or remembering a boundary or your certain boundaries, know that it's actually your responsibility to constantly uphold them, not their responsibility. If they're not capable of respecting or remembering one of your boundaries, that's one of their limitations. It's a weakness, you could say. It's one of their limitations. So don't become resentful with them. You're becoming resentful with them, and you become resentful with them because you are not retaining the responsibility of upholding your boundaries, and you are kind of trying to project that responsibility onto someone who doesn't understand it for one reason or another because of their limitations. They're not capable. So see that. See that when it happens, and if you want to keep that person around you, the version of you may have to shift so that you are that living, breathing, walking representation of your boundaries and standards. And your high vibrating soul family, the people that are going to be your best friends and the people you truly connect with in your ultimate heaven on earth community that you want to have, your boundaries and your standards will have chemistry. They will be compatible. You won't have to constantly remind them of your boundaries and standards. Every space you enter into, you won't have to make it clear what your boundaries and standards are before anyone interacts with you, before things go a certain way. But for now, you may need to. And I hope this can inspire you and motivate you to keep being different so that you can keep staying true to yourself. Even if that means showing some people a different version of you and rescinding, taking back a certain version of you that a person used to have because you realize that they can't respect your boundaries. when they get that part of you. So you take it back. And the example I gave when I first brought this light code through recently on the live was, let's say you have a friend who always touches your ass. And you're like, dude, don't touch my fucking butt. Don't touch my ass. You see them smacking everyone's asses, man, woman alike, they're just smacking asses. And this triggers you. You're like, I don't fucking want anyone's hands on my ass. So you're gonna be like, dude, don't touch my ass. And maybe you tell them and they do it again. Maybe you tell them and you're like, the fuck? So something's got to change, right? What if this person, you can't get out of their environment for some reason? Something's got to change, right? So my example of this light code with that analogy would be every time you see that person, you'd say, hey, good to see you. Don't touch my ass. Hey, over there, I'm going to stay far away from you because you touch my ass. All the time, I don't like it. Good to see you, though. Hey, oh, keep a distance. I got to keep a one-arm distance from you. Everyone, I'm sorry. So-and-so's getting near me, and they touch my ass all the time. I tell them not to. They do it anyways. So hold on. I got to stop my conversation because I got to make sure that this person is not near my ass. It's a different version of you, but it's a version of you that's actually in reality, instead of ignoring that there is someone who constantly violates you and you just pretend like you have amnesia and you reset a boundary that they are not remembering, nor are they reinforcing or respecting. Oh, I'm just going to pretend like this person's not going to touch my ass and I'm not going to like it. And what, you're just going to live in that forever? No, don't do that. I challenge you to be different. Speak differently. I don't know what's going to happen. This is my spiritual guidance. Let me know how it goes for you. I will apply it on my life as well. Okay? Oh, I just thought of another gem. I've been going live a lot, but I haven't been saving the videos. And every time I'm about to close out this video, I think of something I said in a live that I haven't saved on this page yet. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, oh, let me say one more thing. Another thing. Another? Can we talk about gossiping really quickly? So we know that gossiping is low vibrational. We know this. But there are people in our lives who may gossip, and they may even affront us with gossip, and we don't want to fight back because they're people we love and we know that they have limitations, and we just don't want to judge. So the most recent solution I came up with recently on a live that I want to share with you guys is when someone comes to you and kind of affronts you with gossip, speaking to you about a third party who's not there, you could say, this sounds like something that should be kept between you two. But thanks for wanting to include me. No, don't say the second part. I hated the second part. I just added that. Sounds like something that should be kept between you two. Because when someone's gossiping in one way or another, they are violating someone's boundaries. They're exploiting somebody. We don't do that here. We don't do that here in 5D. That's not ascended people talk. So we are going to have to do the uncomfortable things and navigate some uncomfortable environments as we continue to move forward in our lives in alignment with love, in alignment with spirit, being love and behaving with love, but also having firm boundaries and standards for the quality of life that we want to have and the quality of our energy field. I hope this video could help. It feels really good to finally tell you all these things. La la la. I am going to save this video. I'm ending it in just a moment. And then I'll probably start another live in a little bit, and we'll talk about some other things. But this one's going to get saved to my IGTV because we deserve it. And I love you, and I really hope it helps. I think I've reached my quota on saying today. We meditate in the rising tomorrow, Friday. So if you'd like to join us, that's our Power Up Friday meditation. It's going to pretty much be maybe 10 minutes of light codes and then 20 minutes straight of a guided meditation. And our Thursday session is an hour. It's much longer and much more complex. We'll get into that another time. I just changed my offerings on my website for my written readings. If you've been wanting a reading from me, I changed up my written reading offerings. You will notice there is a substantial difference in the price between an in-person reading, a video chat reading, and a written reading. I hope that what I've done there on my website can help some people get readings who wanted readings, but my price points were too high for the in-person readings. So now I've got a written reading offering that I hope can make this kind of one-on-one work that I do more accessible to those who want. So yay. I hope it helps. That's all I got to say. I love ya. Talk to you later. Bye, my loves. Me.